Hello friends! Today I thought I would just sit down, have a little chat while I get ready for the day. Full disclosure, I am not a huge makeup person, so don't have too high of expectations. I'm not going to be talking about my makeup or anything like that, just as a vehicle to kind of get my hands moving as I have a little chat. I've been watching Hannah Lee on YouTube, and she has these videos, like she vlogs, and she just talks while she's getting ready for the day, and I really enjoyed it. So, thought I would do something similar. So, something that has been on my mind as of late is over the weekend I was hanging out with a couple of friends and we're having this conversation, and we came across this topic of this couple that is a mutual friend of all of ours, and it was about social media presence of a couple and if that should be aligned. And basically, there's this couple, the guy posts about the girl pretty frequently, or if you look at his Instagram, she has a presence, and on her Instagram not so much, and it kind of left a bad taste. The conversation was okay, it doesn't look good, which I totally understand. And I kind of jumped in and was not really our place to judge, to say that yes, he should definitely be on her Instagram. In my opinion, I was if he has an issue with it, that's the couple's prerogative basically to duke it out on their own, which I think is true and everybody really understood. I think at the end of the day, their argument, I guess, was it looks bad, and it was definitely a judgment on her because, she's a pretty girl, and I think the assumption was she's just trying to thirst trap. And I was talking to my boyfriend about this the following day. I was yeah, I get it. I think I summed up the argument as she could just be trying to get clout. I'm not being very articulate about this, I apologize. I think the argument was this is a very conscious decision on her part to leave him out of her social media, because it would give her more clout just to not have him on there. I see the argument for that, and once that was very clearly stated, my thoughts was well, so what if that's the case? Obviously, looking from the outside in, I have no idea, we don't know what their situation is, but even if that were the case, I don't know. I think that's totally okay if she's okay with it and he's okay with it, of course. I can see why that might leave a bad taste in some people's mouths, but I definitely feel we're too critical of women in this respect. So what if she's doing it for clout? I don't think that's a huge issue. And I think it kind of speaks to something a little bit bigger where men and women are definitely treated differently this way. The fact of the matter is, if she were to post about her boyfriend or whatever, she may lose followers or clout or whatever it is. And so that could be a conscious decision where she's that's not going to benefit me. And I think that's probably why it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. But at the same time, that's the reality of the world. And on the guy's side, on the other hand, if he posts about her, he gains popularity. And so it's not really a fair comparison. Even if it was a conscious decision, it's fine. As long as they're both okay with it, of course. I think it's similar even in a real life situation where men and women are treated differently, or just where guys have the luxury of, I don't know if there's a phrase to sum it up, but basically if you think about female and male friendships, say there's a couple, the guy has a lot more luxury to have a lot of female friends, generally speaking. Obviously, this is not the case for everyone, than the female has to have a lot of male friends, because in male-female friendship dynamics, a lot of the times, alright, guys are just trying to get with the girls, right? So once you hear that a girl is taken, most guys don't want to entertain the idea of friendship at all. Whereas it's almost the opposite for girls, where if a guy is taken and has a girlfriend or boyfriend, then it's much more safe to be friends with that person because you know that the premise of the friendship is actually friendship. And I just feel like it's the same kind of situation for social media. Oh my god, I get why people can't do their eyeliner and talk at the same time now. Never actually tried it. Oh god. But yeah, I don't know if I articulated that very well or if the argument was strong, but it made sense to me. Let me know your thoughts, if I'm making any sense, if you agree, disagree. I think at the end of the day, I just really don't like seeing, my fellow women disparaged for things that, we don't fully understand all, like, the nuances of. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, if we were to treat guys and girls on the same standard in terms of social media posting within a couple, like, the girls lose. And that's not really fair. But on a similar vein, I was reading an article from Emily Ratajowski, and she came out and just kind of told her story over, I guess, a number of years, how she got her career started and all of this stuff. And she talked about how a lot of her photos had been published basically without her permission, and she talked about owning your own image and things like that, and it just completely blew my mind. So I'll talk about that a little bit, but you should also go and read the article because it's riveting and it's very, very interesting, and it's kind of infuriating at the same time. But basically she talks about how she got her modeling career started, and like when she was still not super well known, she got her photos taken by this one photographer. She was young, she didn't know exactly what to expect, and she ended up doing, these like nude photos and a bunch of other like kind of racy photos. At the time, not a lot of them came out, like they weren't published. He used only a couple, and this was all like with her consent, although I'm not going to do it justice, but there's a lot of nuance of like what happened in that night where, she maybe didn't do things that she 100% wanted to do. But basically, he had all these photos, and after she got big, he released a ton of them and published a book, basically, I think called Emily Ratajowski. And he also had an art exhibit of all of her photos. And I think the exhibition was called Emily Ratajowski Doesn't Want You to Come to This Exhibit, right? And obviously people went because they're like racy photos of her. Obviously she was not happy about it, and she wanted to, litigate, but she was advised not to, and she felt that like maybe it would just exhaust both parties of a lot of legal fees without doing much, because unfortunately our system is not set up for ownership of these things. But there's a parallel with what happened with Chris Evans, aka Captain America, recently, where I'm not sure what the full story is because I think I just like missed all of it. It was like a blip in the internet. I think he posted something on his Instagram story of like hanging out with his like family or something, and there's a part of that clip where he's going through his camera roll. He inadvertently kind of posted some not safe for work photos. Who says the full acronym? No one I know. Anyways, I don't know if it was like a dick pic or just like nudes. It wasn't something that he wanted plastered all over the internet, essentially. And pretty much immediately the fans like rushed to his defense, not just defending his character and things like that, but like flooding the internet with like very wholesome pictures of him. Obviously he took it down right away as soon as he knew. It's great, obviously, like I freaking love Chris Evans, but I really wish that the same courtesy was extended to women, because going back to Emily Ratajowski, like there was literally an exhibit of her called Emily Ratajowski Doesn't Want You to See This, and then people went to go see it. So I don't know, that's just kind of sad. And I understand, like I can see why that happens, and I'm not to say that like I am totally immune to that. especially now growing up thinking about all of these happenings of the past. Like, I think about my own thoughts of Emily Ratajowski and her image, and I think the common judgment is like, well, she chose to take those photos. Like, why should she take them if she didn't want them published? And it's not about that. I think there was some issue of like sign off and who owned the images, and like one important piece of paper got lost of the release basically of images, and the artist then, basically the photographer, got all of the rights to those images, which is not fair to her, especially. I mean, not even just reputationally speaking, like monetarily, she should own those, at least in part, and if her images are being sold, she should be making money off of them, right? But anyways, I'm definitely not doing her story justice. You should go and read it because it's beautifully written, it's very raw, it's very captivating, so, and it's just really interesting. I'm definitely not doing it justice. So I will link it down below and you can go ahead and read it. Alright, well, my makeup is done, so I'm gonna stop chattering away, but thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Let me know if this was entertaining, enjoyable, interesting. Let me know if you want to see more of this or if you want to see anything else. I will leave the link to my socials below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Where is the button? Where's the button? Okay.